Betty was a charmer. Betty was one of the people I looked forward to so much to seeing. Betty made my life merry at the New York City Opera. I am forever grateful. I admired Betty and had the pleasure of having Betty and Ed. Ed, we haven't seen each other in a bit, but I'm so glad you're here. We had dinners together, we laughed together. I'm grateful for knowing this lady.
And they said, well, you're still going to get a prize from the New York City Opera, but it's going to be called, this is hard for me, it's going to be called the Betty Allen Prize. The Betty Allen Prize. The Betty Allen Prize. And I thought, my God, it was this odd moment when I thought, do they know? I had odd parenting like Betty. I had no mentors. I had no champions. I lived in someone's basement to move away from home when I was a teenager. I cleaned and ironed and worked my way through college. The Betty Allen Prize. Now that's something.
Miss Allen was a perfectionist, but Miss Allen was particular about her perfection. It was more than perfection. Now I sing that for you because she made me sing that phrase one time 20 times till I got it right. I don't care who's out here. Nobody suffered from Miss Allen more than I did. Nobody. Let me tell you something. When I first met Miss Allen, Margaret Harshaw sent me to her. Anybody know that name, the soprano? All right. Margaret Harshaw sent me to Miss Allen. So I went to the master voice class with my Oasis und Osiris. And I sang Oasis for her, and she cleared the class. She said, all right, everybody out. Then she said, sit down. And she went and she got a Musical America, George, and she threw it on the table. Boom, hit the table. She said, now write down everything I tell you to write down. So I opened up the book and she said, now listen, you write to Eve Queller, you write to, from the Clarion Society, Noel Jenkins, you write to Bob Bass, you write to Beverly Sills, you write to Jens Nygaard. She started naming all of these people, and I was just coming from college, like 29 years old, working on my doctorate at Indiana University. I didn't know all of these people she was naming. She said, you write them down, you write these names down, and you tell them that I told you to go and sing for them. And I went and sang for these people, and they all hired me. No, you don't understand. They didn't hire me because I was good, because, see, if they didn't hire me, Betty would have killed them. You think I'm kidding. Let me tell you something. I used to go away and sing on different jobs and that. Yeah. And I would get these telephone calls from people in the master voice class. And I remember I got one from one guy. He's dead now, so I know he won't sue me. He said, Kevin, I cannot go back there anymore. She screams at me all the time. I said, oh, boy, she must really like your voice. She's screaming at you. But Miss Allen, she didn't play. Everything had to be right.
Of her. But there was a very domestic side of Betty that many people don't know about. They think of her as the artist, the fundraiser, which she was good at that. She did it much better than I could ever have done it, by the way. But she had another side, and that was being mama. When she was home from her touring, being the first sergeant in the house, and pretty much as Kevin has described her. But she knew all the neighbors up and down the block and loved to plant flowers in the yard and argue with me about many things from time to time. I remember once going to a football game with Betty. My wife knew nothing about sports whatsoever. We went to, in fact, when my son and I used to listen to the game, she said, I don't know why those big men are knocking each other around like that. It doesn't make any sense. Anyhow, she went to a football game to see her son play in Long Island. And now you got to remember that in football, you talk about referees, okay? You don't talk about umpires. You say referees. And somebody started to become upset in our part of the stands because they had made a bad call against Anthony's team. And they were hissing and that sort of thing. And Mama jumped up and said, "The umpire is blind," she said.